Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the third GFK Forum, the second this year actually. My name is Ngozi Okpara. I am the new director. I took over from Mrs. Martha Onyajowa, who is currently doing her PhD in the UK. So, because of time, she needs to focus more on her work instead of doing with the GFK directorship and doing her work. So that's why I'm here. Thank you for coming, and we apologize for starting late. So the theme of the forum is benefits of organizational research in corporate Africa. The Dean of the School of Media and Communication is not around. He's on leave, I understand. So his representative, Dr. Mike Opara, will officially welcome you to the forum. Thank you very much. Dr. Mike.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I can understand very clearly why the director called me Dr. Mike Opara. You know the issues of law can go along with.
Is that what I said?
My name is Mike Okolo. I stand here on behalf of the Dean, who is unavoidably absent, to welcome all of you to this forum. I think not too long ago we had the first forum, or was it the second, for the GFK Center. I'm always very passionate about forums because they are a very good place you can get information about what is current, what is happening. Forums are for us to rub minds together, chart the course for the future, and deploy whatever comes out of the forum. For today, we are going to look at organizational research. I am very passionate about what happens in organizations. That's why all the time I talk about communication with or at home without having some form of things that put them at the top of the chart. So research is something extremely important, and it is something that we have to develop culture to do. Question anything that you come across. Today we have a topic I think will emphasize the importance of research in organizations, and we have an erudite scholar to talk about it. I've been looking forward to this, and a few friends I've discussed with are also looking forward to this, because like I have just said, research is the key to any successful activity. So I welcome all of you on behalf of the Dean, on behalf of LCFC, and hope that we'll have a very good deliberation that will take us to the levels that we are aspiring to get to. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Mike Okolo. So, before I introduce the guest speaker, I'd like to say a word or two about the GFK Center. The GFK group was established in 1934, and I can't pronounce the German name, but it means Society for Consumer Research in English. It is Germany's largest market research institute and the fourth largest market research organization in the world. They entered into a partnership with SMC, and the fruit is the GFK Center we are here, which is doing this market and social research certificate in organization market and social research programs. That is why we have international scholars, including the faculties of and experts from GFK group. Today we are going to have another international scholar of great repute from Ghana, a sister state and sovereign state. His name is Professor I call him that? Let me read it. His name is Professor Bill Poplampul. He is an organizational psychologist. But yesterday I heard him say he's first a psychologist and an organizational psychologist. Maybe he will explain what that means to us. He's currently the Dean of Central Business School, Ghana, in the Central University College, the largest private university in Ghana. Professor Poplampu has been involved in a wide range of consulting services across both public and private sectors, covering international renewal, strategy, human resources management, organizational culture, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Professor Poplampu.
Right, good morning once again. It is good to be here. And I thank the new director of the Center for your kind words and kind introduction. This is the second time I'm coming to the school. The first was last year. No, maybe I should correct myself. This is the third time. The first time I came to Pan-African University then, Pan-Atlantic University. It was, I think, 2006 when we had a seminar and discussion at the business school, which is, I believe, somewhere away from here. And the second time was when I came last year to talk on these very same issues. Last year to a crop of your certificate students, as well as a program organized by the Alumni Association, the executives of whom are here. And I believe you have a hand in this one as well. You're here as well. And it's fantastic to be back again. But the points come up. Let us actually talk. Let's discuss these matters. We don't have anything to lose for opening up and discussing these matters. Far too often, when we consider some of these issues, we find that colleagues in these forums are a little short on openness to discuss the problems, perhaps because of the worry about the implications when you go back to your workplace if you've been pretty open on the matters at hand. My students are very sensitive to the confidentialities of the classroom. I take my academic freedom very seriously. I speak my mind in the classroom, and I believe no politician, soldier, or otherwise has any capacity to muzzle my mouth. So I speak. I urge you the same thing. Let's engage the matters that are key for this morning. I debated with myself whether to present a paper and then we discuss the paper, or to teach and we discuss the teaching, or to simply have the PowerPoint slides. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do, but the slides are here, so we shall engage the material in the slides. So, we want to talk about the benefits of organizational research for corporate Africa. These benefits, as my colleague Dr. Michael said, they are enormous, considerable. And I would hope that as we cover these materials, we will, on return to your different organizations, actually take due note and use these materials, because the point of engaging with these issues, because we can then go back and actually spend some time working it. Now, I'm sure many of you perhaps already know, but still, let me go through these points about what organizational research is. When we talk about organizational research, we're referring to a very systematic process of examining the issues of concern within organizations. Is primarily related to issues within the organization. Business research, market research, consumer research looks outward, but organizational research looks inward. And this is so key because many times managers and others are overly concerned about the business issues to the neglect of the internal constituency. But I make the point over and over again, the internal constituency, the internal parameters, they are fundamental to the progress and the success of your organization, whether small or large. Indeed, in recent times, we have had in the news a renegade someone who worked, as we all know, with the US intelligence services. Has a handle on the views and the feelings and the impressions of its internal constituency. Because the more you have a better handle on those things, the more able you are to perhaps predict or imagine that an Edward Snowden could do what he did, and therefore prepare accordingly. So organizational research is doing systematic investigations in order that you can apply the results to areas such as managerial decision-making, areas such as strengthening corporate governance, looking, for example, at the way boards function, and the other governance tools. In my own research, I have found, for example, that many times we tend to restrict the governance dimension to the functioning of boards. It goes beyond that. We also need to look, for example, at the internal regimes that enable the organization to respond and be compliant to regulatory requirements, internal controls, standard operating procedures. Those are all tools that are at a tangent, but do actually help the governance regime. Now, to what extent are those lacking or in use within your organizations? So, regulatory compliance, improvements in processes and procedures, decisions that can help us deal with our relevance to market, enhancement of internal stakeholders' employment experiences, and so on. These are just a sample. There are several others. But the point we are making is that it is absolutely critical for us, absolutely, for us in corporate Africa to begin to say, look here, our organizations are important to us, and we have the duty of care to make those organizations internally function on the basis of empirical evidences, clear informations that have been properly collected. That is what. Did I do anything wrong? Whatever. You can. That's right. So that is what we need to focus on, so that our decision making, our responses to various issues within the organization will be on the back of credible data. Credible data. Credible data. This is, I share my colleagues' view about being passionate about some of these things. We really have to be passionate about these things. At the risk of being neo-colonialist in one's mindset, but like I said, I enjoy my lecture room and the liberty it gives me. The difference, colleagues, the difference between us in the developing and elsewhere is the tendency or the capacity or the preference to use empirical management. We are killing our organizations because of our subjectivities and it really. I gave an example yesterday of an organization in Ghana that is doing very, very well. But the internal evidences are that a lot of its staff are worried about the fact that the organization is too closely allied to the present government. And if you have a situation where even the internal constituents, the employees themselves, are worried about this, then guess what will happen when the current government ceases to be? And, we pray God that across all our countries, Ghana, Nigeria, and elsewhere, we consolidate the ballot box democracy. And as we know, it's not only ballot box that means a democracy, it's other things. But at least let's consolidate that. But if we consolidate that, it means the current government will not be there in 8 years. Now, when it is not there in 8 years, at that time, when you have used, attachments to the current government to grow, then what do you do? And if that organization would but look at the sentiments of this internal constituency, it would think twice. So, the characteristics of organizational research include the following. There's a lot of focus on application. In other words, you want to use that process to solve problems.